Hello, welcome to the Health In Show, an affiliate program of Homeopathy World Community. You've come to the right place to tune in and participate with your comments and questions. Love is the greatest healer of all. But sometimes, in order to change our emotions, we must take action in other spheres of our lives. We speak with experts in alternative and complementary health fields and hope you will benefit in some small or great way. Remember, you are wherever your thoughts are. Make sure your thoughts are where you want to be.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marilyn Shannon, and this is the Health In Show, and we're so delighted to have you here today. Each month we come together, our illustrious, funny, warm, loving board of Health In, and we bring you the best guests we can possibly find, and today is no exception. And we are very excited with what we have going on today. I just want to remind everyone to please feel free to communicate with us anytime you like during the show. We'd love your questions. We'd love your comments. We'd love your ideas. So please feel free to come into our chat and leave us comments there. You put your name, nickname, whatever you like under the video, and you can come in there. You can also contact us through Skype at computers, and that's plural, then the number 2K voice, and you will come in on Skype voice during the show, not video, voice. So please feel free anytime you like to do that. I want to say hi to Amna before we get on, who is our magic man producer. Hey, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you for being here always, and thanks for having us. And we have Uta. Good morning, Uta.
Hello there. Good evening from my end of the world.
Portugal.
Yes.
And we have Vrushali. Good morning, Vrushali.
Good morning, Marilyn. And it's just another day for us. So it's not yet good evening for us, even though it is night, but we are still working.
And you're in, where are you? Tell everybody where you are.
I'm in Mumbai. I'm in Mumbai.
Well, we're so eclectic and we are so international that but we're also just one. And then we have Deepak. Good morning, Deepak.
Good evening, everyone.
And you're where? Where are you? Tell everybody where you are.
I am in Delhi.
In Delhi.
Yeah.
Well, we love Deepak. So
Thank you,
today's a little special to us also because Debbie's birthday was just Saturday. So Deepak, you want to share?
Yes. Hello, everyone. You are listening the Health In Show. This Health In Show actually originated by Debbie Brack, who is the founder of Homeopathic World Community also. In 2012, in over a Facebook chat with Debbie, I share a study on my cases on dream of snakes. So after this, she planning that we need to explore this topic to everyone, and she made the Health In. And I feel proud always because the first 2 Health In Show was with me on Dream of Snake. Amnon was there, Debbie was there, and Debbie started the name Health In because she wanted to all concept of health in just under one roof. So she's exploring the homeopathy and the many medical methods, especially the homeopathy. But since then, I am connected with her. She left us physically in 2018, but still in our minds. I always called her Mama Ji, and she loves me a lot. We did many video chats, many conversations are there, and I am always be there for Homeopathic World Community and Debbie Brack. And I never forget him. She's in my heart always, and she's my mother. I miss her because she need to meet with me in India, but the dreams did not come true. So I missed, but I really have all things in my mind, and I miss really Devi Mamaji. But on her birthday, I celebrate her birthday like she is with us. So I never thought that she gone. She is with us always. Physically, we are not met any time, but yes, mentally we are always there. So she Debbie was the lady who is always working for homeopathy, always living for homeopathy, and she did a lot of for homeopathy. And we all here are together to explore the homeopathy in such a way. So Debbie Mamaji, we miss you always, but you are in my heart. So thank you, Marlene. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, Deepak. I loved her very much, and you always share so well about her. So I really appreciate it. So I'm sorry, I'm a little tearful because she's
Yes,
always me too. My friend said,
same here, Marlene. But really, we are here to explore the homeopathy world community and
yeah,
the homeopathy throughout the world.
absolutely. And she was amazing, and she was a quite a woman and a mother and a wife
Yeah.
and a best friend. So we're honored. So thank you. So on with our
Yeah.
show now. In Vrushali is going to have the pleasure and the honor of introducing our next guest, who we're all so excited to have, and we're going to have a lot of fun today, and we're going to talk about some things that are going to be really fun and interesting. So, Vrushali, would you like to go ahead and introduce our guest today?
Absolutely. It's a delight for me, Merlin, today to be talking about Dr. Rahul Malushte, who is a person who made me a homeopath. So I have joined the postgraduate course, and I'll just share a small story. So there used to be clinical experience courses for us, and I had been to one of his friend's clinic, and then there is this very smart, bubbly guy just walks in and starts interacting with us. And we didn't know, we thought he is one of the fellow batchmate, and we simply interacted with him like that. And in the evening, I realized that he was one of my teachers because I had to go and report to him. And, he has always taken things so nicely. I've never seen this person getting angry or any mistake. So I've spent more than 2 years with him in the clinic, and I have learned so many things. So whatever homeopathy I've learned it from him. He has been a fellow researcher at the Institute of ICR, Institute of Clinical Research, Pune, wherein he has participated in a research program in drug-resistant tuberculosis. He has done many things academically, but what struck me most was his spiritual journey. He has taken so many courses in past life regression, in personal growth, in spiritual journey, and he has formed his own methods of treating patients with intuition. And there are so many things which I can just say about him today, but I am going to leave you all to his hands to explore what he has to share. There is huge experience of 24 years of practice which he has, and more than homeopathy, more than any system which he follows. He's an amazing person. So I'm very glad to present to you all Dr. Rahul Malushte.
That's wonderful. Thank you, Vrushali, and welcome to the show, Dr. Rahul. And so why don't we start with just a simple question. What is past life regression? There may be some people who don't know. So if you could just start by telling us what that is and the connection with that in homeopathy, I think that will start us off really well.
Yeah. So thank you so much, team HWC, for inviting me for this interview. Thank you, Marlin and Dr. Vrushali and Dr. Sharma for hosting me. It's a great pleasure and an honor to be here on this show today. So without wasting any time, I would go to the question straight away. What is past life regression? If we understand the words as part of past life regression, regression means going back in time. So past life regression is to go back in time to connect with past life memories. This might sound strange to some of the people who don't believe in reincarnation, but if we understand that all of us are energy and that we transform from one energy form to another, then understanding the concept of reincarnation becomes easier. So if we understand from the perspective that we are not just the body and the mind, that we are the spirit or the soul, as they say, then we are just energy forms which incarnate in different body types over many lifetimes. So when we talk about past life regression, then past life regression is nothing but a journey back in time to connect with our past life memories. It is based on the principle that we come to this planet Earth to learn lessons. So Earth is like a school and we are here to learn our lessons. If we learn our lessons in a particular lifetime, then we move to the next level. If we don't learn our lessons, then and we repeat the same patterns again and again, then we experience issues in our life. So for example, in our current life, if we are facing difficulty related to certain relationships or certain limiting beliefs that we hold about ourselves, that we are not good enough, or I have to struggle very hard to succeed, then these patterns are basically emerging from our past. It could be past related to our childhood experiences. It could be past related to our past life memories. So when we revisit our past and relive those experiences, the principle is when you relive an experience, you're able to relieve that emotional baggage which you're carrying. And once you relieve that emotional baggage, then you're able to step back and look at that experience in a detached way. And that is what allows us to learn from those experiences. One might say that, oh, all this is just a figment of your imagination. But at the end of the day, what we tell, and in most cases, people do doubt that whether what they experienced is really a past life. And what we have to say is that it's not the story which matters. It's not the life which you have relived. It's not the memory which you have relived is important, but what you have learned from this experience. And if you learn from this experience, you are able to apply it into your present life. You're able to overcome those limiting beliefs, the conditioning which comes from the past memories, because we are governed by these past experiences, which are primarily stored in our subconscious mind. So it becomes very difficult to overcome these experiences and see things for what they are. So past life regression helps us to connect with the subconscious memories, relive those experiences, release the emotional baggage, and allows us to look at that experience in a detached way. Now, you would ask me how is this in any way connected to homeopathy? Then, if we understand the primary prerequisite which Dr. Hanuman has mentioned related to homeopathic physician, is that a homeopathic physician should be unprejudiced. Now, what do we mean by prejudice? Prejudice comes from something from our past. We prejudge something. So when we judge something, we pass a judgment, then it comes from our past experiences. We do not see things for what they are, but we see things based on our past memories or experiences. So when we are able to let go of the past, we are able to let go of our prejudices. So being an unprejudiced observer does not mean that you should not be prejudiced, that you can overcome your prejudice very easily, because that is a part of our subconscious. But to become aware of our prejudices so that it does not influence our current perception. So when our past experiences do not influence our current perception, then we are able to see things for what they are. And we are able to respond and not react based on our past experiences. And when we respond to our circumstances, we are able to change the patterns which are happening in our lives. And that allows us to heal those patterns and change our reality.
That was a great kind of synopsis of what it is in the link. Does anybody have a question? Anybody here yet have a question? Deepak, Vrushali, Uta, anybody?
Not from my side. I think we should continue his lecture. We all are enjoying.
Yes, I have a question. How does that actually, the past life regression and as you explained it just now, how does that tie in with our intuition?
Right. So, like I mentioned in the explanation about past life regression, we are governed by our past experiences and the memories which influence our perception. All this then connects with the way in which we react to situations, because we have experienced pain from these past memories or traumas. As a result of that, our perception is faulty. So we are looking at the world around us through colored glasses. And to add to it, the way in which we are educated in today's modern world, we are taught that we need to focus on our reasoning, our thinking, our logic, right? So most of our actions are governed by rational thinking, so to say. We call them as rational, but actually it is governed by these experiences, which we then cover up using our rationale and give explanations to our actions. So what happens is that when we tend to react from the past experiences, and we complicate things by analyzing the experiences in a logical way, so that is what we call it, then we are only creating the pattern again and again, right? So what happens is we tend to completely not be able to understand where these experiences are arising from and why we react the way we do. So many times the rational mind tells us that I understand that this is a problem, I understand this is a pattern, and logically I know that I need to react, I need to respond and not react to this situation, right? So somebody is hurting me emotionally in a certain relationship, and I understand that it is not the person, but it is my expectations from this person which are actually the cause for my suffering. But when it comes to actually overcoming our expectations and being able to relate in a healthy way with that individual, it becomes very difficult. So you understand, but you cannot change your patterns. And that is where I think we need to work on these patterns. But how do we work on these patterns? Because they are so deeply ingrained. It's like a computer program which keeps running. There are tapes which keep running and which are influencing our thinking process. So how do we change this process? And that is where I think the aspect of intuition comes in. So basically, if we understand what is intuition, then intuition is nothing but, it comes from the Latin verb intuere, so which means to look inside or to contemplate, right? So when we talk about intuition, then most of us might have experienced what intuition is, but maybe we do not really use it so actively. So commonly, if I've tried to make this simple, that commonly we talk about gut feeling. So that is something which we experience here in our solar plexus, and we know, okay, this is something which my gut knows. I know this is the right thing to do, right? So, or if you find that this physical sensation tells you that this is the right thing. So at the body level, we call it as the gut feeling. At the mind level, many times we are driven by certain instincts. So we know instinctually this is what we need to do. It is also called as instinctual awareness. And at the soul level or the spirit level, because we are talking about man being not just the body, mind, but also the spirit or the soul, then at the spirit level, we call it as the intuition. So it is instinctual awareness. This is something beyond logic, beyond rationale. But because we have been trained to see things in a logical way, analytical way, we tend to just sideline these experiences, these observations. So the moment we are able to tune into our intuition, we are able to see things the way they are and not the way we have been taught to see them, or not based on our past experiences. So it might seem completely illogical, right? You're going on a highway and there are two roads which are there right in front of you, right? Your GPS system tells you take the right side of the road, but something deep inside you tells you no, it's the left. And if you listen to that, you eventually end up where you want to be. If you follow the GPS, many times you are led on a wild goose chase. So this is where our intuition can guide us. Now, this was a very simple example, but when it comes to our life, day-to-day life, many times somebody will come and tell you, oh, this person, she was gossiping about you and she has been saying nasty things about you. And we suddenly get into this mode of, oh, how dare she talk about me like this? And then maybe for a moment we pause and say, oh, I don't think that my friend would say something like this about me. I know her better. And something within you, that small voice, which usually we tend to not hear, tells us that no, something is wrong. Or maybe I should get back to her and listen to what she has to say, that there may be her side of the story. Mm-hmm. And this person who's communicating to me is only telling me half of the story, or is telling me something from her perspective. So if we listen to that soft voice, that small voice, which is always there guiding us, then we are able to, overcome so many hurdles. Life becomes effortless. We are able to find the right direction for our life. We are able to find the purpose in our life. And that is what intuition is all about. It is about living life in a very effortless way.
Very, very interesting. Thank you very much for that explanation. I'd like to just perhaps a short answer. How do you apply the use of intuition in your practice when you're seeing patients? How does that tie in with seeing patients?
Right. If we understand, because the topic for today is intuition, a doorway to healing, then this is a very apt question, that how does intuition help us in healing? Now, before I go to how it helps me in my practice, I would say that if every individual, it's not just a doctor or a healer who can heal individuals, but all of us are healers, and there is a healing ability within all of us, just that we are not connected to it. So if we know that we possess this ability, that we are capable of healing ourselves, our body is a very wise instrument. It knows what is best for itself. Sometimes we know that, this food which I'm eating probably is on its way to getting unedible, but still, because we crave for that food, we tend to eat, and then eventually we realize that we've come down with a bad stomach disorder. So the body knows that this is not meant for me now, and I need to avoid it. So likewise, for an individual, if we are able to connect with our heart, the heart knows what is best required. And if we understand if we understand that a lot of research has happened around this whole experience, because we want reasons. Scientific researchers want to prove that yes, whatever is being said is, there is proof of this. It is not just a hypothesis. So what they have found out that is there is a neural plexus around in the region of the heart which has a direct connection with the left brain, specifically in people who are right-handed. So this is the connection which allows us to feel things in a very different way and not just logically analyze or understand things through reason. And it is this connection which the neural plexus around the heart has, which with the left-sided brain, which is the creative part of our brain, is what helps us to understand and see things intuitively. It's just that we need to listen to our heart. So many times we will say, you would have heard this in the movies, or some friend might have told you that listen to your heart. No? Listen to what it has to say. And if we do listen to our heart, and it's this process where the heart is able to feel beyond logic, beyond reason, or beyond common sense, as we call it. And when we do that, we are able to find a way, find solutions. Many times we will, there was this lady who used to visit me. She had arthritis, and one day she landed up in the clinic saying that, oh, I have been undergoing treatment for the carcinoma of the bladder, and it has relapsed 3 times, and now it has come back again for the 4th time. And so I said, so what brings you to me? She said, somewhere I felt that maybe you would have something to offer me. And sure enough, when we worked with her through a past childhood memory, and we realized she could connect with an experience where she was abused as a small girl by the landlord's son. And it was this traumatic memory which led her to believe that nobody will understand her. And as a result, she shut down completely and never expressed her emotions. And it was during this process that she was able to connect with her mother during the process, and went out all those feelings which she had bottled up inside, and that allowed her to release that trauma. And sure enough, after a month, when she was actually posted for surgery, they found that the tumor had disappeared. It was not there. So it was her intuition which made her approach a particular system. It was absolutely illogical for somebody who was being treated with allopathy, surgery, all those medicines, to come to a homeopath and say that, why is there a chance that you can help me? And at that point of time, she had asked me, do you think it will help me? And even I was not sure at that point of time, but very spontaneously, what came up to me was, I said, sometimes miracles do happen. And actually, when she found out that the tumor had gone off completely, she called me and said, Dr. Rahul, it's a miracle. So it's not a miracle. No, for us, for the logical mind, it might appear as a miracle, but it is not. It is something which is so natural. Our body has all these abilities, but we do not respect what our body has to think. We do not respect what our feelings, what our heart is actually trying to convey to us. So this is about any individual who has the ability to heal themselves. You will read so many inspiring books, we call them inspiring books. It could be the story of Brandon Bayes, which she writes in the book, The Journey. And she's come up with a system of healing self through these experiences. And we've heard about Louis Hay, who talks about healing yourself. But it's not that these are special people who are gifted. They only listen to what their heart told them. They only listen and tuned into their intuition. And that is why they could set an example. All of us have it within us, just that we are not listening. And if we listen, if we tune in to our intuition, we will be able to do that for ourselves as well. So that is about people in general. Any person can do this. If you ask me as a homeopath, then in most cases, what happens is when we talk about homeopathy, homeopathy is a lot about receiving the patient, about understanding his problem, understanding about how he reacts in his circumstances, how he views his reality, what is his view of the reality, how does that reality influence him, how does it manifest as an illness because of his inability to cope with his circumstances. Now, in case somebody comes to me and tells me that something which is completely illogical, but it is his reality, I cannot question his reality. But the moment as a homeopath, if I use my logic and I question his reality, I am not receiving his pain. And healing is all about receiving any individual unconditionally. So if I am able to accept the person, his story, his situation, the way he sees it, without any judgment, I accept the person completely. And with a lot of compassion and unconditional love, if I am able to hold the space for that individual when we receive the case, then that is more than half the battle won. Because in most situations, we have seen as an experiment that after the case receiving, many times we just tell them that, okay, I think we've let go of all the burdens we've been carrying. So let's just try without taking any medicines. And after a week, you will find the person coming back and reporting, oh, I felt so light after I spoke to you. And half my problems are already solved. And I'm sure Dr. Vrushali and Dr. Sharma would, confirm these findings and experiences in their practice as well. That in most cases, when we are able to hold space without any judgment, accept the person unconditionally, it heals the person. You might not even require medicines. So what happens is when you are able to tune into your intuition, when you keep your logical mind aside, you are able to receive the person unconditionally. You're able to hold a space which is non-judgmental. And that is what helps in the healing. It also helps you to understand the person for what he is. And that is what homeopathy is all about. Because I have to understand his reality and based on that, understand his personality. So that helps me to find the right medicine for him.
Can I interrupt you just a second? Because
Sure.
This is fascinating. I'm listening, and many years ago, I read a book by Brian Weiss called "Many Lives, Many Masters," and it's a fabulous book about past life regression. Because this medical doctor, he was a very conservative psychologist, I believe, in a facility, a big hospital in Manhattan. He was director of something, and this would not have been anything that he would have believed in. But he had an experience with someone who came in and she was choking and blah, 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 and somehow they went back and they did a past life regression on her and realized something from her past. So do you feel, and we have a lot of people listening who are not homeopaths, they're regular, everyday people. Would you say, and this is, you can't listen to this and not see the logic. You can't listen to this and not see the logic in so many of our illnesses, and whether they're physical impairments or psychological or whatever they are, that they're not connected to something beyond what we see every day. So in speaking to like the general public, would you say that most situations we can look back and say there is a connection to a past life, whether it's a childhood from this life or one from previous lives? You fall off a bicycle and you have a pain in your leg. Could you speak to some of that to those people that are listening, like me, who are not homeopaths? But I can see the relationship. But can you speak a little more to that audience?
Yes, definitely. Incidentally, it was the same book which inspired me to explore past life regression. But that was in 90s, and it took me almost 20 years to really get trained as a therapist.
Oh my gosh, I was going to ask you, while you were talking, but you were talking so well. I didn't want to interrupt anything, but I kept thinking to myself, I wonder where this started for this amazing doctor.
Yes, yes. So it is in modern parlance, yes, Dr. Brian Weiss and his book have actually inspired a lot of healers to explore this modality of past life regression. But it dates back even to the early 90s, where you would find that a lot of people have done a lot of research. So there's Dr. Raymond Moody, who's done research on life between life. There is Dr. Ian Stevenson, who has studied more than 200 cases of children who have reincarnated. And they have found that, yes, the experiences which these people or these individuals carry are also responsible for a lot of illnesses. So, for example, if you understand that there are aches and pains which are, unexplainable, and you find that all tests run and there is no explanation why I am having this pain. But when you come to a homeopath, a past life regression therapist, then you would find that this person, the healer or the homeopath, will not just disregard this, because what we are experiencing is nothing but cellular memory. So our bodies are like, they carry the impressions of the past life traumas, or the traumas which come from our childhood. Like in this case, the case which I described, this lady had completely forgotten this experience. She was not even aware that she couldn't even remember this memory when we actually consciously, when she returned the next day, saying, oh, I had forgotten this completely. It had completely gone off my memory. But if we understand, and if you tell this to somebody saying that it was the childhood abuse which was responsible for bladder cancer, then it might sound very atrocious. But if we understand from the energy perspective, then it was the blockage in, if we understand from the perspective of the 7 chakras, then it was blockage in the sacral chakra which was responsible for this illness to come up. Now, one would ask why it has come up after so many years. Then it has to happen that a certain trigger will bring back those experiences and manifest in form of somatic symptoms. So definitely past life memories or memories of the childhood are the ones which are deeply imprinted in our subconscious. So, and that is the reason why we understand that most of the illnesses arise from that. Modern science may not be able to connect these experiences because logically you can't. But if you connect with the subconscious, and if you are able to see the parallels between the trauma, so for example, children who have had traumatic deaths in the past life come up with the same kind of pains in the current life, which is not explained at all medically. So all tests normal, but you still find. And the moment you connect with those experiences, you relive that trauma and you release those emotions, the pain disappears. So a lot of cases pertaining to migraine, if you find, or if, cases related to abdominal colic, you would find that these people have had traumatic past life memories, either had a death because of a trauma or injury to the head, and they come up with migraine in this current life. Or you would find that there has been experiences where a person has had has been stabbed to death, and eventually in the current life you would find the person coming up with severe colic. Now this happens if you understand from the perspective of the metaphysics. Then what happens is this experience is stored in our energy bodies. So though we have a physical body, we also have other bodies which are called as, so we have the etheric body, we have the intellectual body, and so all these sheets, they are sheets which eventually form a part of our being, which may not be seen with the visual eye, But from the scientific perspective, these bodies have been captured by Kirlian photography, if you've heard about it. And we talk about, so the energy body can be captured. And in these pictures, you would find that there are certain color changes or opacities or dark regions which will indicate that our body is carrying that experience, that memory with it. And it may not manifest immediately at a particular right at your birth, but when you grow up and a particular age, when you would find that the age of that past life and the current life matches, that is when these symptoms start manifesting. So this is called as synchrodestiny, where we are able to see that though we are carrying those past life memories and they are manifesting in our current life. Like you mentioned about many lives, many masters, we have had experiences where phobias have been treated by connecting with past life experiences, where people have had, in this case, in the story which he talks about, his patient, where she had drowned in a past life and she experiences fear of water. She has extreme phobia of water, and reliving that experience allows her to release that trauma. So in one of our cases, we found that one of the women who had asthma, she was regressed and she connected to a past life memory where she was pushed off a hill and she fell into a gorge, into a river where she drowned. And she was able to relive that experience, release that trauma. And later on, we didn't even know about this, but later on she told us that she has extreme fear and she can't even have a bath standing under the shower because she's so afraid of water. Leave alone swimming in a pool or in the sea. But she had so much fear of water that she had to actually slow down the shower or avoid having a bath with a shower. So all these experiences are so deeply stored in our memory that they influence us in our current life as illnesses. So we may call them as illnesses, or they may be in form of certain unexplained pains or aches or fears. And we can't explain them. So when we connect with these past life experiences, we are able to release that trauma and relieve ourselves of those symptoms.
Can I ask a very practical question?
Yes.
Now, in our societies, we've lost a lot of our intuition and the connection to our inner voice, so to speak, and we hardly listen to our gut feelings anymore. Is there a way to reconnect with our intuition?
Yes.
How?
So, yes. So there are, if you understand, then there are certain aspects which we need to work upon when it comes to building on our intuition. And these are, this is a well-known fact and a research fact. And these are called as the 5 pillars of intuition. So the 5 pillars, and I will elaborate on each one of them. You can also read up on the net, you will find this, but just for the benefit of our viewers, the first pillar is the pillar of trust. So we need to trust our impressions and trust that whatever comes to us is in the highest interest of ourselves as well as all. So if we are able to trust our the inner voice which tells us what we need to do, then we are able to get a feedback, because the moment you trust and follow your intuition and you get a positive result, then it further grounds you, it helps you, it builds that confidence. So for example, I am also an animal communicator, which we do through telepathy. And I always tell my students that whatever comes to you while you're communicating with an animal, trust it completely. And the more you trust, the more you get validated about whatever your findings are. Even during the process of regression therapy, if you trust whatever impressions are coming to you, be it in form of visual images or you hear those experiences, or you just kinesthetically feel them. And if you trust them, the more you trust, the more you're grounded in the experience. The more you're grounded in the experience, the more you are able to release that trauma, and that allows you to heal better and in a more sustained way. So trusting your intuition is the first step to building your intuition. The second pillar of building our intuition is being able to connect. So connecting with yourself. So in most cases, and in today's fast-paced world, we are not at all connected to ourselves. We are so engrossed in the external world, and we need that stimulation. Even if we do not have that stimulation for 5 minutes, we look around. Where is my phone? Let me check. No? Or I want to see some net series if I have some spare time. So we seldom spend time in solitude. The more we spend time in solitude and we listen to our inner voice, then we will be able to build on our intuition. So we get to know ourselves better. We know that what our inner voice is saying, and that allows us to build on that intuition. Intuition will actually flower if we are able to listen to what our inner voice says. If you open up to our feelings, and this is something which happens when we heal the child within us. So in most cases, like intuition is about looking within, and if we are able to heal the childhood trauma, then we are able to connect with the childlike qualities within us. So that's part of the fifth pillar, which is innocence. So the moment you heal the inner child, the traumas related to the inner child, then we are able to see where we come from, and what is it that is influencing our perception. Why is it that we see things the way we are seeing them? We are able to understand what is limiting our growth potential. What is it that which is holding us back in being able to do the things we could do? So if we are able to heal the childhood memories through the process of regression, it's called as inner child healing, then that allows you huge access to your intuitive abilities. The third and most important thing is acceptance. I think that's the biggest difficulty, because we always want to question. We always want to find reason. And as a result, we are not able to accept things for what they are. Also, we are not able to accept ourselves. So we keep fighting with ourselves. We keep fighting with our inner demons. We are trying to overcome our fears. We are trying to overcome the way in which we are conditioned to see things. And that makes it difficult to accept ourselves. Because if I believe that I am not good enough, if I believe that I am incapable of doing good things in life, if I believe that I'm a useless person, and most of us carry these deep-seated beliefs which we may not be even aware. So in most cases, you would find that we are actually compensating for our experiences. You would find, and many times we tend to admire people who are achievers, who have done great things, and we feel, oh, I don't think he has a problem. But if you talk to these people, and if you go deep within them and understand what is it that is driving them, it is in most cases a fear of failure. And the person is actually trying to push himself harder and harder, because the more he achieves, the more he is afraid of failing. And if we are able to address this fear, then we will not feel the need to achieve. I will not feel the need to go on proving myself. Who am I proving to? I'm only proving to myself, because I am afraid that I will fail. So I am not able to accept that part of me. Maybe as a child I had failed in an exam and I was severely reprimanded by a parent, and I was not able to see myself as a failure in that experience. And because I have rejected that aspect of me which had failed, I am going on compensating by trying to go on achieving. And in this process, we create stress for ourselves. There is nowhere to go and nothing to achieve. But we feel that, oh, only if I am able to achieve this goal, then the next goal. One goal is not enough. You go on setting higher standards for yourself. So if we are able to achieve, accept that part of us which we have rejected. So in many cases, we tend to reject that part of us which is socially not acceptable. For example, based on the socio-cultural values, if a child is made to believe that being an artist or a dancer is not a good thing. Only if you're an academician, then you are a successful person. Then I reject that creative person in me. That I reject that artist in me. So as a result, I am not able to see myself the way I actually am. I also there are times when there are individuals who tend to bottle up a lot of anger because they've been told that being angry is a wrong thing, or boys are taught that weeping is a sign of weakness. You should not cry. Why are you crying like a girl? A boy is told, but actually it's a sign of being able to release one's grief. And if because we are told that you're a weak person, so and I am not, because I am weeping, I reject that part of me. But if we go to see that the flip side is that weeping is only a response to me being very sensitive. So I am rejecting that part of me which is sensitive. So, but we go on seeing this as a darker side. So embracing that side of us which we have rejected as a child while we were growing up, because we were taught that this is not the right thing to do, or this is not which will help you to be a successful person or whatever. So because we have rejected that part of us, we are not whole. So the moment we are able to embrace that part of us, we become whole again. And that is what Carl Jung also talks about, that healing is not just about becoming conscious of your emotions, but it is about bringing the subconscious to the conscious, bringing the darker side to light, and that is what heals. So the moment we are able to accept ourselves for who we are, that allows us for the alignment between the body, mind, and spirit, and then it is then that we are able to receive the messages from the higher self, the soul. It's not, intuition is nothing but a guidance coming from a higher source to whom we are connected. It's like I am here on the computer, on the laptop, but I am receiving the connection through the Wi-Fi. The moment I switch on my Wi-Fi, I have access to the wisdom around the whole world through the internet, right? But I have to switch on that button. So that button is our intuition, and that allows us access to all the wisdom. This is a very simple example, but I think it will bring home the message that the moment we are able to connect to our higher self, which is always there to guide us, we are able to start acting in the most efficient way, and life becomes effortless. The next pillar is that of integrity. So integrity is nothing about being your authentic self. So whoever you truly are, whoever you believe you are, whoever you feel you your inner self is, being your authentic self, and that allows you to free yourself. So you let go of a lot of restrictions which are holding you back. So if you are a person who is creative and you are in a corporate job, but because you're in a corporate job, you have to sit with a very erect posture and with a serious face, and there is no scope for creativity, you are not expressing your authentic creative self. But the moment you are able to bring your authentic creative self and incorporate that as part of your daily work culture, you will start creating wonders. But you have to allow that authentic self to come to the front, not be afraid of it. And the most important,
I have to just interrupt you a second because we only have a few moments left.
yes.
And I didn't want to even say a word, but we only have a few minutes left. Would you come back again?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I would have loved to take a small process, but I realized that we've run out of time. And a small guided process which will help us, experience our intuitive abilities. So if you give me the chance to come back again, I would love to do that process in our
Can
next.
You come tomorrow?
Sure.
I would love you to come back. I mean, you are fabulous.
And we'll definitely.
Do you work with patients as well? Like, can you do it anywhere in the world?
Yes, we can do it anywhere in the world.
Okay. So I don't even, go ahead. Anybody want to say anything quick? Because I want to come back. Vrushali, have any?
Yes, I have a question. So, taking your example of Wi-Fi and computer, like how, so many times we learn about intuition, we attend your workshops, amazing workshops, I must say, and then it's kind of, we forget it or our Wi-Fi gets hanged. So how do we refresh it?
Yeah. So it is very natural, because the moment we get back to the so-called normal world, we are back into the same experiences. Our surroundings have not changed. People around us have not changed. So it is quite natural that we tend to slip back into our old patterns and not listen to that inner voice. So the best and easiest method of being connected with this Wi-Fi is meditation. So meditation is the most simplest process, and it's not it's not rocket science. All you have to do is give 10 minutes of your morning time, close your eyes, focus on your breath, focus between your eyebrows in this region which is called as the third eye. And as you focus on the third eye, just observe yourself breathing in and breathing out. Keep with your breath, and that allows you to remain in the moment, in the here and the now. And when you're in the here and the now, the past and the future is in no way going to influence your perception. So as you start practicing this, you are able to connect to your abilities of intuition. Also being mindful. So mindfulness is a practice where we use all our five senses to experience whatever you're doing. So if you're having a meal, then you use all your five senses, your touch, smell, taste, visual, and hearing. All these senses, if they're used, then that allows us to be in the here and the now. So the key to being intuitive is to be in the here and the now. And for now, these are two things which you can definitely follow: meditation and mindfulness, which will allow you to remain connected with your Wi-Fi.
Amazing.
Really amazing. And Deepak, you were about ready to ask a question too.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Rahul sir. You are always amazing. And from my side, every disease always have a source, and your intuition may react as a fertilizer for your disease. So do not keep it with this intuition. Listen, Dr. Rahul sir, again on this channel, and we are welcome to you again and again, sir. Really, this is really informative session for all, because this health platform is for all, not only for the homeopath. So this is for all. So this is really wonderful session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Deepak. It was a pleasure, and I enjoyed myself thoroughly talking to all of you. And I hope all the viewers also have gained some bit of experience from whatever I have shared.
Oh, I know I have, so I'm sure everybody has. And Uta, what about you? You have?
Yes, absolutely fascinating, fantastic, and we'll find a date when we can reconnect and bring you on the show again.
Sure, I would love to come back again. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Uta, you want to say anything about HWC or anything?
From the top of my head, I've just been so immersed in the intuition.
I know. Just so everybody knows, homeopathyworldcommunity.com. We are a loving community. Everybody is, welcome to join. We do all kinds of wonderful things. We have study groups. We have the creative hour, which we do monthly, which is an opportunity for homeopaths to come together and express themselves, which obviously, in order to connect with your intuition is a really great way to do that. We have our virtual coffees, which is a wonderful opportunity for homeopaths again to come together and just share and communicate and explore things together. And we do our health and show once a month. We do webinars. Anything else anybody want to add?
Marilyn, can I add?
Absolutely.
We are intuitively connected homeopaths. So all across the world, we are spread all over, and we are so very nicely bonded. So do join us for all the art shows wherein, there is no judgment, where you are allowed to be yourself just once in a while. And I'm sure that is another intuitive practice. So this month, I will be conducting this art show, which we will create remedies out of art, right brain activation. Who join us?
You don't have to be an artist. You don't even have to. Everybody's creative, but you don't have to be an artist. Yeah, good. Anybody else? Final anythings? Anybody? All right.
Fantastic.
Thank you. All right, Uta, get on him, or I'm going to take it for myself. All right,
Thank you very much, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Anna.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.